She don't like her eggs all runny. She thinks crossing her legs is funny.
Good evening, everybody, and welcome to Eat This Twin Cities, and I'm going to eat this right now. I've got a big, giant bowl of granola. That's right, I'm eating granola at 6 o'clock at night, or what time is it, 5 o'clock? Oh, wait a minute, we don't know what time it is.
I never know what you're going to say. I don't even know where to go after granola.
Well, you could just tell everybody who you are.
This is Tracy.
And I'm Terry, and we do a cute little show here out of St. Louis Park, out of our St. Louis Park studio called Eat This Twin Cities. And as usual, we've got a lot of great stuff coming up. And TB, what are we going to be talking about today?
We are going to be talking about the Salt Cave.
Mm-hmm.
That's kind of intriguing. And then we're going to be talking about Lake and Irving. We had a nice brunch there. And then also the Minnesota Monthly Food and Wine Show.
Always a huge deal over there at Target Field. And you know what? When you start seeing the advertisements for that, it's almost like hearing about the Minnesota Twins down at Fort Myers. You just start to feel warmer all over, even though it's not quite warm outside yet, but it just gives you that glimmer of hope that spring and summer are on the way, and people aren't such crabby asses anymore. People kind of snap out of it when they see all this cool stuff coming up.
It's true. That's true. This is a great event. It kind of kicks off spring and just so awesome to go eat and drink and walk around and try a bunch of different restaurants and all in one place. So it's perfect.
Yep, absolutely. Well, last weekend, it was so cold out, and everybody, even in my voiceover class, everybody had the cold or the flu. I mean, it seems like everybody was sick, and you had brought up the idea that we should go to the Salt Cave, Minneapolis. And of course, you know, I was kind of skeptical about it because this seems more of like a TB thing than a TD thing. You know,
right.
Somebody like me, I'm like, oh, that's never going to work. I'd rather just take a bunch of drugs.
Exactly. And I just want to say, because I think people will feel for me, you were sick for a full week. And ladies, you know what it's like when a guy is sick a whole week. I mean, I was so tired of you complaining. I was just trying to think of anything that would work to make you feel better.
Yep. And you know what? Now we have social media. So not only do you get to listen to me bitch about it in person, I can write about a dozen posts of why I don't feel well and get the entire community to feel sorry for Terry Daniel.
Oh my gosh. So this was my solution, is to try the Salt Cave, which I have been there before. And if a lot of people probably haven't heard of this, it is Himalayan therapeutic salt.
Yep.
And you go in and it's almost like you're going to the beach. You go into this room, the floor, all the walls, everything's covered with this salt. And then they actually pump the salt in. And you sit in there for 45 minutes and you just relax. They have a nice little blankets you put on and these super comfy chairs. And so, yeah, we had to do it.
Well, and the cave itself was really trippy. As a matter of fact, the first time we went in there, the first second we were in there, it kind of reminded me of Land of the Lost.
Right, with the ceiling.
Yeah, because it had all the colored bricks and jewels, and I thought like Enoch the Good Slee Stack was going to walk in and tell me how I could get back home.
The amazing thing is you did so well. For 45 minutes just to sit there, I thought you would never survive that, and you did.
It was very therapeutic for somebody who's, you know, got his fingers in a lot of different pies and has high anxiety and OCD and ADD and whatever else, whatever other anxiety condition that yours truly has. It was the perfect solution for it.
It is. And honestly, every time I've done it now, I just walk out of there. I feel so good. It seriously, it does open you up. I've heard from other people that have asthma that have gone that it helps just so much. And honestly, this time of the year, it's one of those great things to go do because it's just warm and cozy, and you feel like you were just on an island or something.
It was unreal. And on the line, we actually have Scott, who is the owner of the Salt Cave, Minneapolis.
Hey, Scott, it's Tracy and Terry with Eat This Twin Cities. How are you?
I'm good. How are you two?
Good. So I've been to the Salt Cave a couple times, and I've just had such... I'm trying to think of the words. I mean, when I go there, I feel like I was on an oxygen mask. I feel so good after. And I don't think a lot of people have heard of the Salt Cave. And I was just wondering if you could tell us a little bit more about it.
I would be happy to. We kind of pride ourselves on being Minneapolis's best kept secret. So we like that you hadn't heard of it and that the people that do know about it can try to keep it to themselves for as long as possible. I think that we're growing in the right direction. The way the cave works is people come in and they breathe in very, very small particles of salt, and it helps loosen congestion, helps their skin, it helps them relax, hopefully, if you can relax in there. Relaxation is always a challenge for most of us, but we encourage people to really focus on breathing and relaxing.
Definitely, it is so hard to slow down, but that's what's so nice about this is it does, it makes you sit there for those 45 minutes and just soak it all in. And it's such a nice thing for this time of the year because it feels like you're at the beach. It
does. That's exactly the main premise behind this therapy is we're recreating the microclimate that exists by the ocean. So the little particles of salt, as they're sprayed into the air by the ocean, loosens congestion. A lot of people with upper respiratory issues, whether it's allergy related or cold or flu related or chronic upper respiratory disease related, notice a marked difference when they're by the ocean.
Well, it was perfect for me. Scott, I was one of those kind of skeptical guys. It's like, well, why would I want to go to the Salt Cave when I can just go to the bar and have a beer? I'm major OCD, ADD, and all of the ingredients above. And I went in there, and I thought it was one of the most relaxing, therapeutic experiences that I've ever had.
Well, thanks. That sounds great. That's exactly what we're hoping for everybody. It's kind of a luxury, especially our lives are so busy. Our minds are multitasking. Our technologies are multitasking. Multitasking is constant. And it really, in our experience and what we've heard from people, it seems like people really respond to not having to multitask and treating it just like a 45-minute vacation. It feels pretty good.
Right. So good for people's health, physical and mental.
Yes.
Yep.
I couldn't agree more.
I had to giggle a little bit when you said that you're careful about where this goes out to, just because I almost didn't want to tell anybody about it because I did feel like it was like I just discovered something that was my secret to feeling so great. But
we don't want people to be too secretive.
Yeah.
Well, it's not going to be a secret anymore.
People want to keep it to themselves. It's not. I think that we've been around for 2.5 years, and it seems like things are growing and getting busier. So we like to let things just happen organically.
People can go there for yoga as well, correct?
It's true. We have yoga classes. People can rent a cave for yoga. People can rent a cave for meditation parties. We've even had a wedding in there.
It's funny. I was just going to mention, because everybody we talk to, I usually try to finagle our way in to actually have our belated wedding reception party in there. And Tracy, maybe we can go have it in the Salt Cave.
Right on.
We'd love to have you.
Well, Scott, thank you so much for taking the time to tell us more about it today.
Of course. You're welcome. Thanks for asking.
That was Scott from Salt Cave, Minneapolis. We'll be right back to Eat This Twin Cities right after you listen to this. The term foodie can sometimes come across as a tickle pretentious. BT and Lydia are here to demystify the term and reclaim it for the sake of good food. Their weekly podcast brings in fellow foodies and culture creators from the Twin Cities to talk about all things food. Find this duo only on the Alive and Social Network. We are back to Eat This Twin Cities with Terry and Tracy. Well, TB, after our wonderful experience at the Salt Cave, Minneapolis, we had a chance to go over to Lake and Irving.
Yeah, we kind of came up on this by accident because we were driving around. We were a little bit dazed after our Salt Cave experience because we were so relaxed and just looking for someplace good to eat. And we had never been to Lake and Irving, so we decided to check it out.
Well, they had a great beer selection, and I had a couple of those. I think it was called the Bad Weather Wind Vane or something like that. I think I'm pronouncing that correctly, but that was quite mouth-watering. And then this is going to come as a real shock to you and our audience, but I had a burger for lunch.
It looked so good.
Can I just be the burger guy? I mean, should we just claim that right here on the show? Because, I think I've reviewed a burger from about 3 establishments now.
Yes, I think that's a good idea. Maybe we could be in search of the very, very best burger in the cities, besides Juicy Lucy, because we know those are amazing.
Yeah, definitely. I promise as we really get the show going, I will branch out as far as choosing something a little bit different on the menu. But, every time we go out for lunch, we're just so stupid. We wait way too long to eat. and then I'm dying, and then there's just nothing that sounds better than a big, juicy burger from half of these places.
I really loved it in there. It was like a neighborhood bar, the way the bar was set up, and it was just comfy, and they had such a nice brunch, too.
They really did, and then what you had looked absolutely delicious. I was jealous that I didn't order it, but tell everybody what you had for lunch.
I had buttermilk chicken and waffles, and I know, I've always thought it seemed like such a weird combination, and I've never wanted to try it. I mean, it just seems weird to me pouring syrup over chicken.
Well, these cool places in Minneapolis do that. They pick two food items that have no business being right next to each other, even on the same plate. They'll put them together in the same entree or meal, and they're fabulous.
But I think this is something that's been around for a long, long time, like down in generations, families handing this down. We've just never tried it. I don't know, but it was amazing. I fell in love. I can't believe how good all those flavors are together. And theirs was, just so nummy.
And of course you had a Bloody.
Yeah. Yep, very good Bloody. I like their Bloody Mary there.
Can't do lunch without the Bloody. And then for those of you beer lovers, they have they have a variety of different beers that they kind of showcase every weekend. But their main beer menu is absolutely fabulous. So you'll have to try that when you get in there.
Yeah, I can't say enough about that buttermilk batter either on that chicken. Oof. I want to go back. Let's go.
Very cool. We will be going back. It's Lake in Irving, and you can actually, I'm sure, Tracy, you're going to post some pictures. I think you already have posted some pictures on our Facebook page.
I did. Yep, and I'll post more, and we will post the link to their site.
Yes, we will. And in case you haven't officially, quote unquote, liked our Facebook page, we'd like to whore that out right now. What is the actual?
Facebook.com/EatThisTwinCities.
All right, coming up, we're going to be chatting about the Minnesota Monthly Food and Wine Experience and talking with Josie from Minnesota Monthly Magazine. With Suhan Unfiltered, sports columnist for the Minneapolis Star-Tribune, Jim Suhan presents in-depth conversations with the best writers and sports personalities in the area. Suhan brings professional journalism flavor without the verbal censoring. Find out what unfiltered really means. Only on the Alive and Social Network. SuhanUnfiltered.com. All right, we are back, and just around the corner, of course, is the Minnesota Monthly Food and Wine Experience. TB, you've, I think, been a part of this for a couple years now.
I have, yeah. I work with Rutgers Bay Lake Lodge. I help them with some of their marketing, and so we work their booth for them every year at this event, and it's a blast. And of course, you'll love this. One of my favorite things is the booth that's literally right across from us is Miss Mary's Bloody Mary mix.
Oh, man, boy, that's tough. That's tough having them for a neighbor.
Right. But it's a great event. It's this Saturday and Sunday, both days from 1 until 5. And you get to come and just try all these different wines. And it's at Target Field, which is just really cool to be inside when there's not any games going on and to see what it's like to have events there. Tons of different food to try, tons of a lot of local companies, local meats, local cheeses. I don't know. I just can't say enough about it. It seems like the tickets are pricey, but when you think about it, all the different food and wine that you're getting, if you went out to dinner one night, you would spend the same amount of money. But here you're getting to try all these different things and have access to all this different, such a variety of food and, get to taste a little bit from each spot.
And for me, it would end up just being a beer crawl.
Right. Probably. Although I bet you would try some wine. And
for sure.
They also have a lot of different drinks that they'll make.
I don't want to paint a picture that I'm just into beer. I mean, I love trying all kinds of food. That might have been a different story maybe 5 or 6 years ago when I ate the same two meals for dinner and lunch when I was back in my bachelor days.
Before I came along and did all this wonderful cooking for you.
Oh, you did. Yeah, it's been a huge upgrade. So, I thank you also for getting me off those stupid microwavable dinners. I mean, what the hell was I thinking there? I mean, seriously, it was like every night.
I remember when I moved in. Seriously, your freezer was full.
Oh, yeah. I would go. There was a local grocery store at the time over here in St. Louis Park on Cedar, and I would go and I would spend literally $40 on microwavable meals.
And now we know what's wrong with you.
But, of course, I thought it was healthy because I was buying those ones that were called Smart Ones. Like, oh, yeah, that's smart to eat that shit every day.
Perfect marketing.
Yeah. Well, I fell for it for sure, but On the line, we have Josie from Minnesota Monthly Magazine, and she's got all the details about this weekend's food and wine experience.
Hey, Josie, this is Tracy with Eat This Twin Cities. How are you?
I'm good. Hi, Tracy. How are you?
Good. Thank you so much for joining us. Every year, I work with the Rutgers Bay Lake Lodge at their booth at the Minnesota Monthly Food and Wine Experience, and I always have loved it. I mean, it's such a nice opportunity to try different types of wines and drinks and food. And of course, I love all the cheese trays that are there.
Yeah, of course.
And so I was just wondering if you could tell us all about the event and give us some details.
Definitely. So the food and wine experience is something that Minnesota Monthly's been doing for quite a while. And it's this weekend. It's March 7th and 8th, and we're doing it at Target Field's Metropolitan and Legends Clubs. It's kind of fun to be there to start, just sort of when there's not a game going on, it's not crazy, you can kind of wander around and see everything in the stadium. That's always fun.
Yeah, that's like one of our favorite places. And I love being there when there's not a game. It is fun to be able to even look out and see the field when it's cold and snowy. And
definitely. Personally, I'm hoping that the snow will melt, but, we'll see.
It's supposed to. I think it might even be in the 50s.
For the most part, last year when there was a game, there really wasn't a game.
They're going to come back strong this year.
I am with you, Tracy. I have hope. So what's great about Food and Wine is that everything is there under one roof. So there's all this great food from different restaurants in the area and different local food makers. There's hundreds of wines for you to try. There's tons of craft beers. There's spirits. And it's like if you have all these restaurants that are always saying, oh, I really need to go try this, or all these products you see at Lakewinds or at Qualsies or wherever that are Minnesota made, and you think, oh, I should really buy that and try that sometime. It's all right there for you to try, which is so great. That's what I really love about it.
I love that too, and I've had such great experience with all the vendors that are there. They're so good about explaining everything, like the different types of cheeses, and they just take so much time. A lot of them have recipes, even for the different drinks that they're making for you right there, and they have cards with the different types of wine. So if you do fall in love with the wine there, it's good that you can walk away with that information.
Exactly, yeah. It's a lot of fun, and the vendors are all really great. This year we actually have Bitter Cube Bitters is going to be on site there, and they're going to be doing mixology demonstrations, so you can learn how to mix drinks, which is really fun. And there's always the wine. People are always so happy. They're so excited to talk about their wine, which is what I really love is everyone there is so passionate about their restaurant or their product. And I think that's so great because you get to really see what drives people, and then you get to taste this great product that they've come up with as a result of it.
Right. And the other thing that I love that always cracks me up is you can tell the experienced people that have been coming to this event for so long because they'll actually come with like the plate that you can attach the wine glass to. Have you seen that?
Oh my gosh, yes, and the wine glass holders around your neck.
Yes,
but the thing is, my first year, I was giggling at those people, but it's so true. You have all this stuff to hold, you have all this stuff you want to be eating at once. It totally makes sense.
I was too. That is hilarious because I was giggling as well. And then after a while, I thought, oh, I want one of those. I kind of like the whole really keep it around your neck. Yes.
Definitely.
Well, I'm excited about Tracy worked there last year, but I did not get a chance to drop by there, but I'll definitely be doing that this weekend. But and then Friday night is the wine tasting. Is that correct? Can you tell us a little bit about that?
Yeah, so everything kicks off on Friday night, also at Target Field in the Champions Club, and we have our Grand Red tasting. And it's a more intimate thing than Food and Wine, and it's all these high-end red wines from around the world, and it's so great because you get to learn so much about each wine. It's really a personal experience. You get a wine glass, you get gourmet chocolates, there's gourmet cuisine served. So it's just really fun, and it's a little bit quieter, it's a little more intimate. And you can buy tickets online or at the door, but we're looking at selling out. So I would recommend looking online for those.
Okay, great. And so at this point, you do still have tickets available for that? I remember last year it did sell out.
Yes, definitely. The Grand Red does sell out, so I would definitely go online and check out tickets for that.
Okay, and also people can also go online, and we'll list your website, but they can also go online to get tickets for either Saturday or Sunday.
Yep, for Food and Wine. Yep.
Okay. And is it 1 o'clock to 5 p.m.?
It is. It's 1 to 5, and what's really great about this event is you get to taste all this food, you taste all this wine, you have the spirits, it's craft beer, and all the proceeds go to Minnesota Public Radio. So it's such a good cause, too.
Oh,
so
nice.
Your friends, you get all this great food, and you're benefiting NPR, which is great.
Yeah, that's so cool. Like you're giving back at the same time. And I always say, I've worked different booths and different events. This is the most fun because everybody's in a great mood. I mean, how can you not be in a great mood just eating and drinking all day and walking around?
I totally agree. And you're right. Everyone's in a great mood. The vendors are in a great mood. Last year, Barbette had oyster shucking, which was so fun.
Yeah.
This year, Four Paws is going to be doing an interactive plating competition. So they're going to have the squeeze bottles, and people are going to be plating it as a contest to see who makes the prettiest plate, which I think is,
fun.
I'm really excited about that.
Yeah, that'll be great. So do you have a favorite booth this year that people have to stop by and try or anything?
Oh my gosh, I don't even know.
It's probably hard, yeah.
We have a lot of returns every year. Tim Bartman's restaurants, Barbette and the Third Bird, Bryant Lake Bowl, always have really fun foods. But honestly, you can't go wrong. I'm excited about Bitter Cube spirit mixing. I think that'll be really fun. Cafe Latte is going to be there. They have this amazing turtle cake that's on the cover of our March issue that is just so glorious, and they make the best desserts. So I'm really excited about that, too.
Well, Josie, I can always figure somebody out by the sound of their voice.
Oh, yeah.
And you sound like a huge wine drinker, and I'd like to know personally what your favorite wine is.
My favorite wine, oh boy. I went wine tasting in Chile a few years ago and had a wine by, I think it was a company called Angel. They were really, really good at that vineyard. But I really like the wines from Washington Wines, which will be at Food and Wine Experience. They're a little bit softer than a lot of the Minnesota wines you taste, and they're just so delicious.
Oh, I'll have to make sure to check that out for sure. Okay, well, thank you so much for taking the time to chat with us today, and we look forward to being there this weekend, and I hope I get to meet you in person.
I know, me too, yeah. Thank you so much for having me.
No problem. And before we let you go, what is the website address that people can go to get the tickets?
You can go to foodwineshow.com to learn more and to get tickets for all of the events that we talked about.
That's wonderful. And what time did you want me to show up to MC the event?
I mean, show up and we'll talk. I think you sound like
that was a good answer. Good answer.
I can't wait, personally.
I'm always trying to bully my way into a new job. All right, Josie, we appreciate you coming on Eat This Twin Cities, and we'll see you sometime this weekend.
Great. I can't wait to meet you both.
You're listening to Eat This Twin Cities, and after that interview, TB, it just makes me want to, eat and drink a bunch of beer and wine.
What's new?
It got me. Wow, that was kind of a shot. Sure, that's it. Yeah, just hit me when I'm down.
Aww.
I'm looking forward to it. I know you're working at it all weekend long, but I'm going to pop over there probably sometime late Saturday afternoon.
I think you'll enjoy it for sure.
Yeah, so what do we got a lot of stuff coming up because, of course, St. Patrick's Day is around the corner. And, of course, I used to just live for St. Patty's Day. I'm not as into it as much as I used to back in my bar crawl days. I was really into it. Didn't you used to do
the whole St. Paul parade?
Did the St. Paul parade. I'd go to Irish bars at 11 a.m., dressed in green and my goofy, silly leprechaun hat. I mean, St. Patrick's Day was like Christmas for me way back in the day, and I still like it. It's fun.
I know a lot of people really still get into it. We like to do the runs now.
The runs, yes. We choose the healthier route.
Right.
Instead of boozing for 7 hours straight in some type of an Irish pub, now we do the 5Ks.
Yeah, this year we're going to be doing Jake O'Connor's Luck of the Lake 5K. We did that one last year for the first time, and it was a blast in Excelsior.
And it was brutally cold. Remember that? When the run started, it was kind of foggy, and I think the temperature is 14 degrees. And it's going to be a little different because we've got a nice warm front coming in next week, according to our good friend. I'm going to name drop Mr. Marler.
Yeah, it was so cold last year. Remember, we both almost quit, and your sister was way ahead of us, and we were thinking, oh, let's just run off. Let's just run off the side of the road and be done and go to the restaurant.
I'm always looking for just even the littlest excuse to get out of it.
I know, but we made it. We made it.
Yeah, we made it, and it was a lot of fun, and it's going to be maybe about 20 to 25 degrees warmer this year, so I'm really excited about it.
Yeah, it'll be way better.
All right, we got to wrap it up, but why don't you tell everybody what's coming up on next week's show?
Next week, we're going to be talking about Southside Studio and Farewell Milwaukee, the band. They're incredible. Mm-hmm. And Pat's Tap. And we don't have a giveaway for this show, but we got some good stuff coming up.
Oh, you guys suck.
But we have some great stuff coming up for next week.
All right, until next time, eat this, Twin City.